WCLU.com.
Good morning, everybody. Downtown, we're waking up with 78 degrees. Yes, a warm 78-degree temperature reading as we get our start here on this Thursday morning. And let's see, we've got Jeff Marr working at the Weather Channel today and says we're about to peak on the heat.
After hot and humid conditions today, there will be some relief from tomorrow into the weekend behind a cold front. In the meantime, though, a heat advisory is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Clear this morning, a sunny, hot, and humid afternoon with a high of 96 and a heat index into the triple digits. There may be an isolated thunderstorm late in the day. There's scattered thunderstorms tonight with a low of 73. Another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms on Friday, cooler with a high of 85. Then a sunny weekend as high temperatures climb into the mid to upper 80s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel on WCLU, your home for local.
Well, we got yesterday, depending on which cloud you were under, 0.11 of an inch of precipitation, 0.11 yesterday. Barometer's at 30.22. The humidity is at 97%. And there's a bit of a breeze. Not much is going to make a difference, but it's out of the east at about 5 miles an hour. Looking at the WCLU constant coverage in studio radar screen, crystal clear. Just a few little sprinkles down south of greater Nashville this morning. So it's a clean, clear shot. Very humid out there. If you're like I was, the windshield was very, very wet just because of the humidity and because of the temperature difference. But we'll deal with that as the day progresses. 78 degrees, live to the newsroom now, round one of local news, and WCLD News Director Angela Briggs. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, Henry. A late afternoon accident claims the life of a Glasgow man. At around 6:30 Tuesday evening, the Barron County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to an injury accident on Happy Valley Road, just outside of Cave City. 19-year-old Mark Detweiler of Munfordville told deputies he was traveling eastbound in his 2011 Chevy Camaro when he lost control of the vehicle due to water pooling on the roadway. The vehicle then traveled across the center line, struck a 2013 Nissan Rogue, driven by 51-year-old John Goad of Glasgow, head-on. Mr. Goad was pronounced dead at the scene, while a passenger in his vehicle, 55-year-old Laura Goad, was flown from the scene to University of Louisville Hospital for treatment of injuries. Detweiler was also flown to U of L for treatment. The Barron County Sheriff's Office was assisted at the scene by Glasgow Police, Cave City Police, Cave City Fire Department, Park City Fire Department, the Barron County Coroner's Office, Glasgow Emergency Management, and Barron Medcap EMS. Hatcher and Sadler Funeral Home is handling the arrangements for Mr. Goad. Whiskey barrels were piled in a mountainous heap Wednesday after the rest of a whiskey storage warehouse collapsed in Kentucky, nearly 2 weeks after part of the decades-old structure came crashing down. The remainder of the massive structure collapsed at the Barton 1792 distillery in Bardstown. Nelson County Emergency Management spokesman Matt Spalding said no injuries were reported in either collapse. It is a mountain of bourbon barrels, he said yesterday. Environmental and wildlife officials were at the scene to determine if any whiskey spilled into a nearby waterway. The distillery owner, Sazerac, a Louisiana-based spirits company, already was facing a state fine stemming from the initial collapse. In a statement, the company said its employees worked quickly to contain the spill Wednesday, with none of the new runoff entering any waterways. After the initial collapse last month, the company said the damaged warehouse had held about 18,000 barrels of aging spirits. Up to half of the barrels inside were affected by the first collapse. Now, the company said at the time the collapse had affected a mix of various distilled products at various ages. However, yesterday they said they didn't know how many barrels can be salvaged or what actually caused that initial collapse. The cleanup crews have been at the scene for days, and the company called in more resources after the second collapse. Spalding said yesterday the warehouse was built in the 1940s. Following the first collapse, the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet spokesman says that the company would be cited for failing to report the spill of whiskey in a timely manner and for polluting Kentucky waterways. Now, the spokesman said that Barton 1792 moved quickly to stop the alcohol from entering the creek, but didn't alert the state quick enough. Whiskey flowing into a nearby stream and river killed about 800 fish after the initial collapse. Bardstown's about 40 miles south of Louisville. Nelson County Emergency Management Director Joe Pruitt said last month he couldn't recall another whiskey warehouse collapse. Bourbon ages for years in charred new oak barrels where it acquires its color and flavor. Kentucky's bourbon sector is in the midst of a more than $1.1 billion boom that includes expanded production facilities, more storage warehouses, and new tourism centers. Kentucky distillers have more than 6.6 million bourbon barrels aging, according to the State Distillers Association. It's 6:12 a.m. on this Thursday morning, 78 degrees.
The university scientists have long hypothesized Where does the magic man get his magic? The phenomenon that is the magic man is considered one of the great wonders of science. Truth be told, there is no science greater than magic. And that's why the mystery remains.
Hi, I'm Eddie Bruner, and yes, technically I am the magic man, but there's no magic to it. It's honesty, knowledge, and paying the best prices I can pay.
Glasgow Prescription Center is the culmination of my husband's professional career. When he took over GPC, he didn't want to be just good, he'd already done that. He wanted to be great. And I think his patients would agree that he's done just that. Could he get by with a smaller staff? Sure. The gift shop, the flower shop, delivery people, a brand new facility, none of those things are required to have a pharmacy, but that's why it's not just a good pharmacy, it's a great one. I'm really excited to see what Robert is going to do next because I know he's going to put his heart into it.
Who will be the future face of Pettigo Lessenberry? Through expert analysis, we've confirmed their potential. With intense training, we've prepared them for any occurrence. We've taken their strengths and made them stronger. Now it's time to see what they're made of. Presenting the future face of ISU Pettigo Lessenberry Insurance.
Hello, I'm Jared Pursley.
And I'm Daniel Bird.
And we're more than prepared to serve you here at ISU Pettigo Lessenberry Insurance.
Growing with a proud community since 1902.
In more local news, U.S. Senator Rand Paul says he still has trouble breathing since he was tackled in his yard 8 months ago by a neighbor who was given a 30-day sentence, a punishment the Kentucky Republican thinks should have been harsher. Paul told his hometown newspaper that too often people seem to think violence is the answer, and one way to stop the trend is punishments that fit the crime. Now, the signal from society needs to be that this level of violence that we're descending to is just not acceptable, Paul said Tuesday. He suffered multiple broken ribs in the attack last November while he was doing yard work at his home. His neighbor, Rene Boucher, pleaded guilty to assaulting a member of Congress and was sentenced last month. At that sentencing, Boucher admitted what he did was wrong and asked forgiveness from Paul's family, but he said he would understand if they weren't ready to grant it. Boucher said he was triggered by Paul's repeatedly stacking debris near their property line and just lost his temper. Federal prosecutors who sought a 21-month prison sentence are appealing the 30-day sentence. Paul said after the sentencing that 21 months would have been the appropriate punishment. Boucher's attorney, Matt Baker, said the 30-day punishment was appropriate, indicated he will seek dismissal of the government's appeal. Paul's filed a civil suit against Boucher asking for medical costs and attorney fees relating to this incident. Boucher's attorney responded with a motion seeking to dismiss part of that civil suit, filed a countersuit, claiming Paul had paid no out-of-pocket medical cost. Recounting the attack, Paul told the newspaper it was like the pain of 1,000 knives. Paul, a former presidential candidate, also suffered pneumonia after the incident. He has described it as a blindside attack as he stepped off his riding lawnmower. 8 months later, the senator is handling routine duties, but said, "I still have trouble breathing. The pain is now more of a chronic pain." Also this week, Paul said he and his family were targeted by someone threatening to attack them with an axe. We do need to have better dialogue in the country and learn that violence is the answer, that these things need to be punished so someone else doesn't think that it's okay. A diagnosis of diabetes can be overwhelming, especially for a child. A Kentucky program is working to provide emotional support for kids with type 1 diabetes and their families. The Family Link program is a collaboration of the American Diabetes Association in Kentucky and the UK Healthcare's Barnstable Brown Diabetes Center. Dr. Laura Hernamos at the center explains patients have a lot to figure on when they're first diagnosed, including how to use insulin and properly monitor their blood glucose levels. As his name implies, Family Link connects families who are on that same journey.
It's very much a support system. If they meet other children and adolescents who have diabetes, they see that there are other people with the disease and that they can live healthy with it.
More than 3,000 Kentucky kids are estimated to be living with diabetes. Paul Gerhardt of Richmond says she was a bit frightened when her son was first diagnosed, but some of that fear dissipated After meeting other families in the program, her son even became a Family Link Youth Ambassador.
My son doesn't like other kids to know at school that he's got type 1, so the majority of them have no idea. But he enjoys our outings and things because he's just like everyone else, not different at all. And being a youth ambassador has really boosted his self-esteem and his self-confidence.
Hieronymus says the most important thing for people with diabetes is to stay informed, and Family Link offers educational programs and service referrals for pediatric patients.
Things change on a regular basis. New technology comes out, new medications come out, new guidelines, and you really want to stay abreast of all of that new information and the things that can potentially make the life with diabetes more manageable.
Family Link members also attend special outings during the year, including baseball games, fairs, and picnics. She adds they're working to spread the word across the state so more families can get involved. WCLU Local News, I'm Angela Briggs at 6:18 a.m. 78 degrees.
Lesenberry Do-It Center is Glasgow's only locally owned hardware store, and that means a lot to me. Lesenberry's has been in business for over 100 years. I walk in the store, they know who I am, and I get the help that I need. For me, Lesenberry's is the easiest place for me to shop, simply because it's a local family-owned business, and I feel comfortable when I'm there. And I'm glad there's still a place like that in Glasgow I can go to.
PB.
From the Kentucky News Network, I'm Jaleesa Chapman. The second half of a building housing thousands of barrels of bourbon collapsed at the Barton 1792 distillery in Bardstown. About 9,000 barrels came crashing down Wednesday afternoon. Milt Spalding with Nelson County Emergency Management tells WLKY.
Just a mountain of barrels. It's hard to describe. It's just a pile of barrels.
That's on top of the 9,000 barrels that fell to the ground when the first half of the rick house collapsed last month. There were no injuries. One man is in jail and police are still looking for another in connection with a woman's death in Franklin County.
Quite honestly, we don't think that he's very stable.
Franklin County Sheriff Pat Melton is talking about 38-year-old Derek Garton. The victim, 39-year-old Margaret Smith, had an emergency protective order against him, and he remains missing. Melton says Garton is armed and dangerous.
I think he's got some people that are helping him, and I think he's also hiking it on foot quite a bit as well.
Billy Turner was arrested Tuesday night and charged with complicity murder and complicity tampering with evidence. Melton says Turner and Garton are friends. I'm Suzanne Duval.
Independence Day storms caused damage in and around Paintsville. Johnson County Emergency Management Director Gary McClure says the storms caused significant downtown damage within the city limits. Trees were uprooted and winds knocked a steeple completely off a church. Over 1,000 Kentucky Power customers are without power this morning. The National Weather Service plans to survey the storm damage today. A new commission created by Governor Matt Bevin will look at creating economic opportunities for Kentuckians. Bevin's office says the Economic Opportunity Commission will consist of 12 voting members appointed by the governor. Lieutenant Governor Janine Hampton says she hopes the commission eliminates economic barriers. I'm Jaleesa Chapman.
This is the Kentucky News Network.
Hey, Swamp Fox, this is Fat Cat. You got your ears on? Come back. Yo, Fat Cat, I'm over here at exit 33 having a burger and fries. Why don't you join me?
Swamp Cat, I'm about to pass exit 33 right now. Order some hot wings for me. Move out of the way, Grandma. The speed limit's 70.
Protect yourself and your passengers by learning how to share the road with smaller vehicles. The Ticketing Aggressive Cars and Trucks campaign is being enforced statewide, so pay attention. Don't be distracted. Brought to you by the Kentucky State Police Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Branch.
It's the summer travel season. To raise awareness of traffic laws and to encourage safe driving habits, state and local law enforcement are out in force during the Blue Lights Across the Bluegrass campaign. The goal is not to write tickets, but to save lives. Don't speed. Don't drive impaired or distracted, and always wear your seatbelt. Obey the laws, or you will be cited. No exceptions, no excuses. Paid with federal funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
South Central Kentucky Monuments in Glasgow wants you to know that if you've recently lost a loved one or if you're thinking about a pre-need monument, they're here to make the process as stress-free as possible. With plenty of examples and a multitude of custom options, South Central Kentucky Monuments has the ability to offer you exactly what you want or help steer you in the right direction based on your preferences. Let my friends David, Jerry, and Adam Jesse provide the service and craftsmanship you deserve. To learn more, visit SouthCentralKYMonuments.com.
Local news time from WCLU is 6:22, and we have 78 degrees this morning. Very humid out there, not much of a breeze. Some folks got some rain yesterday, about 1/10 of an inch, and I think we're going to probably have less than that out there today. In area funeral announcements this hour, John Wesley Goad, age 51, of Glasgow, died Tuesday as a result of an automobile accident. He was a son of Sue Eatman Goad and the late Thomas Carl T.C. Goad. He was an employee of Square Deal Lumber Company in Glasgow. Besides his mother, he is survived by his wife, Laura Ritter Goad, one son, Brent Goad, one daughter, Amanda Lee, and her husband, KJ, two grandchildren, Harper Lee and Ryan Lee, one brother, James Goad, and his wife, Gidget, two nieces, Jasmine Sharp and her husband Elijah, and Savannah Goad, and special friend Jennifer Turbin. Funeral services for John Wesley Goad will be Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Hatcher and Sadler Funeral Home, with burial to follow in the Glasgow Municipal Cemetery. Visitation will be after 10 o'clock on Friday morning and continuing Saturday until time for funeral services at Hatcher and Sadler Funeral Home. Raymond Renee White, age 94, of Glasgow, died peacefully at his home July the 3rd. Born in Graydon, New Jersey, he was a son of the late Edward Jeremiah White and Madeline Merhand White. He was a U.S. Army veteran of World War II. In addition to his parents, he was preceded in death by a son, Raymond White Jr., one brother, and two sisters. Survivors include his wife of 74 years, Regina May Klein White, two sons, Robert L. White and wife Laura Lee of Edmonton, and Bruce L. White and wife Doris of Knob Lick, one brother, Charles Robert White of New Hope, Pennsylvania, 7 grandchildren, 15 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. Raymond chose cremation with no services to be held. Interment will be in the Three Bridges Cemetery in New Jersey. Arrangements entrusted to the Hatcher and Sadler Funeral Home. Neil Ellis Dennison, age 37, of Horse Cave, died Monday at the Medical Center of Caverna. He was a graduate of Caverna High School, a press operator at Bowling Green Metal Forming, and enjoyed spending time with all of his family and friends. He is survived by his wife, Jessica London Dennison, a daughter, Haley Dennison of Horse Cave, his father, Ed Dennison of Bonneville, one sister, Allison Dennison of Horse Cave, a nephew, Drew Rhodes of Horse Cave, maternal step-grandmother, Juanita Shelton of Hodgenville, 3 uncles, Deward Burge of Florida, Michael Dennison of Lebanon, and Paul Barron of Cave City. Funeral services for Neil Ellis Dennison will be at 1 o'clock on Saturday at the Wynn Funeral Home. Burial will follow in the Cave City Cemetery. Visitation begins at 3 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Mrs. Georgia Wright, age 83, of Bowling Green, died Sunday at her residence. She was a native of Barron County, a member of the First Baptist Church of Glasgow, and retired from T.J. Sampson Hospital. Survivors include a daughter, Felicia Buford Stockton of Tampa, Florida, 2 sons, Jeffrey Buford of Atlanta and Reverend Barrett Wright of Franklin, one brother, Ricky Buford of Washington, D.C., 12 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. Services for Mrs. Georgia Wright will be at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning at First Baptist Church in Glasgow. Burial will follow in the Oddfellow Cemetery. Visitation begins at 6 p.m. Friday evening at the church. The Hayes, Watts, and Purcell Funeral Home is in charge of those arrangements. Obituary information is available 24 hours a day free online at WCLUradio.com. No login is necessary. It's almost sold out, so sign up today. The Snead Family Tours is planning a trip on the General Jackson in Nashville. It's July 13th, and it'll be an enjoyable experience as you cruise on the General Jackson. Enjoy an entertaining dinner show and round-trip transportation, all for just $150. The bus will be making pickups in Glasgow, Smiths Grove, Bowling Green, and Franklin. This is a great way to get away. It's July the 13th, but just a few seats remain. Call 270-678-3575. That's 270-678-3575. And get on board the General Jackson for a relaxing trip July 13th. 678-3575.
Hi, I'm Fred Parrish here at Parrish Carpet in Glasgow, Kentucky. My parents started this business over 50 years ago, so we know flooring here at Parrish Carpet. We have a large showroom and a big selection in stock. We do custom binding and we do free estimates. We've served a lot of people in the 50-plus years, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you. So if you have a flooring need, come see us at Parrish Carpet.
TJ Sampson, providing TLC, Total Local Care, 24/7. My husband and I were both admitted to TJ Sampson. They were so good to us, and we will always go back to TJ, your local health care provider. Total Local Care, 24/7.
A heat advisory is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Clear this morning, then a sunny, hot, and humid afternoon with a high soaring to 96 and a triple-digit heat index when you factor in the humidity level. There will be a slight chance for a shower thunderstorm late in the day, and there's scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight with a low of 73. Another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 85 as cooler air arrives. And then a sunny weekend with a high temperature on Saturday hitting the mid-80s, then a high temperature topping out the upper 80s Sunday. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel on WCLU, your home for local.
Thank you, Jeff. That heat advisory is something to heed today because we have been hot for a while, and looks like we're going to go up just a little bit further this morning. The barometer is at 30.22. Humidity is at 97%. Winds are out of the east at 5 miles an hour. And under the right cloud yesterday, you got about 1/10 of an inch of rain. It wasn't widespread, but where it fell, it fell pretty intently for a brief period of time. 78 degrees this morning at WCLU at 628. Weather brought to you by Bluegrass Sailor. Let's turn to local sports. The 2018 Kiwanis Soccer League fall sign-ups will begin this coming Monday, July the 9th. Registration is $45 per participant with a $5 discount for each additional participant from the same household. There are 3 co-ed divisions: little kickers for the 5-6-year-olds, under 9 for the 7 to 9-year-olds, and under 12 for the 10 to 12-year-olds. For more information, contact the office at 651-3811. Also, fall soccer registration is ongoing for ages 3 to 9 at the YMCA. You can learn to play and have fun while doing it. And there's going to be a Meet the Coaches event coming up on August the 25th. Just make a note of that. That's a check of local sports.
Growth begins with an idea. At the People's Bank, that idea is to give you the banking service you deserve. We carry out that idea in everything we do. In fact, it's become our motto, working for you. As that idea continues to grow, let us work for you at our new location, 1300 West Main Street, opening this summer. Let us be the place where your ideas begin, where you get the banking you deserve. Come grow with us. The People's Bank, working for you.
Check out the deals at Gilliard Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Save big on summer adventure during our Jeep Celebration event. How about saving up to $5,800 off the factory MSRP on a new 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee? Or choose up to $4,000 off the new 2018 Jeep Renegade. Now you can save up to $3,750 off on the newly redesigned 2019 Jeep Cherokee. If car shopping makes you nervous, come to the home of legendary service.
When was the last time you got your Ralphie on? What's getting your Ralphie on, you ask? When you're winning prizes and lighting up the score in the arcade, you're getting your Ralphie on. When you're dancing under the lights on roller skates, you've turned on your inner Ralphies. When you bring your coworkers to bowl in the business league, your office staff has clocked in on Ralphie's time. If you suffer from symptoms such as lack of fun, feeling bored, if you get frequent urges to act like it's your birthday, or if you're just not smiling enough, you need to go to Ralphie's. That's Ralphie's Fun Center in Glasgow. A great place for any party, event, field trip, or church group. Get your Ralphie on.
Just a fun place to hang. We're talking about Ralphie's Fun Center, and we're tickled that they sponsor the birthdays each and every morning here on WCLU. So here we go with the list for today. So far we know that Sean Hayden is having a birthday. Sean is 36. Happy birthday to Jean Bunch, Vicky Bunch, Brittany Stewart. Brittany's 23 today. Rodney Trigg is 57. How about the 6th birthday for Mr. Jackson Travis? Happy number 6, Jackson. We also have Marie Paul, Tammy Wood, Shannon Edwards has a birthday today. A couple of anniversaries so far we know about. Jim and Teresa Nelson, and for Danny and Melissa Crumpton. Their 21st anniversary for the Crumptons today. How about that? 651-9149, 800-956-1023, online at WCLUradio.com. As we build our list to work from today, we're going to be giving away a delicious birthday cake from Dairy Queen and a beautiful rose from Greer's Florist. So let's get these on in here and see if we can build us a list here. We got some archives coming up.
It was one of Why the name Fire Pit Spirits? Because your beverage of choice is meant to be enjoyed with good friends, celebrating life, happiness, or just the end of a hard week of work. And, as always, it's meant to be consumed responsibly. So, whatever you're celebrating, gather around your fire pit, because good times are made with the ones you choose to keep in your circle. Fire Pit Spirits. Best selection, best service, best friends.
The university scientists have long hypothesized, where does the magic man get his magic? The phenomenon that is the magic man is considered one of the great wonders of science. Truth be told, there is no science greater than magic. And that's why the mystery remains.
Hi, I'm Eddie Bruner, and yes, technically I am the magic man, but there's no magic to it. It's honesty, knowledge, and paying the best prices I can pay.
Okay, let me tell you about a gentleman who's having a birthday today. It is Melvin Lemons. Melvin Lemons is 82 today. And I heard from his daughter that he is a very special gentleman. And 82 for Melvin Lemons today. And while we're talking about special folks, let's go ahead and do our person of the day. Today it is Brittany Stewart Day on the radio. It's her birthday. I think it's her 23rd birthday today. And so what we need to do is to pat Brittany Stewart on the back today and be sure and let her know that she is good as gold from WCLU and a little taste of Texas, because, you know, that's just a fine place to have dinner and to enjoy being together. We're talking about a little taste of Texas. Let's see, I think we are in a pretty good spot to move forward here. And okay, all right, I will. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to tell you about something that's coming up right here. The Summer 2 swim lessons registration is ongoing right now through July the 22nd at the YMCA. Classes will begin on July the 30th. So we got a little time on that one right there. So let's get it all, you know, ready to roll for that. We also have a jewelry making class on Tuesday, July 31st from 10 until noon at the Marywood Weldon Library. Participants will make a, I'm sorry, not participations, but participants will make a pair of earrings and a memory wire bracelet. The supply fee is $15 with registration, and that's coming up to be due by the 24th of July. Make checks payable to Leah Williams for classes for adults. And also want to remind you about the Caverna High School Site-Based Decision-Making Council is going to be meeting on July the 9th at 3:45. I'm sorry, that's at, well, let me back up. I'm reading two at once here. It's Monday the 9th of July for the Caverna High School Site-Based meeting. That's going to be in the library at 5 p.m. It's the Barron County High School Site-Based Council that meets on Monday as well. That'll be at 3:45 in the Trojan Academy Media Center. So, that's what we have for you right now. Let's shift gears and get into the archives this morning. Yes, it's the time where we go back and learn about ourselves and appreciate our heritage and explain a few things. All the things we like to do when we have the archives right here on WCLU. We learn about the archives courtesy of the sponsorship of Joseph A. Wade, Industrial Hardware Services. And we learn about the archives through the hard work of archivists like Ms. Gail Berry and Mr. Ray Green and others that I'm sure I don't even know the full names. But I want to thank them, and we're going to share next.
15,000 inventory items, custom brake hoses while you wait, cylinder repair. Is there anything Joseph A. Wade can't do? Well, one thing's for sure, Joseph A. Wade Incorporated serves a large community of people who believe there's no job they can't do, and that's the same attitude Joseph A. Wade has in their line of work. So for the smallest screws, Allen wrenches, or drill bits, or even a 5-stage hydraulic cylinder measuring 25 feet in length, Joseph A. Wade's motto, no problem. Joseph A. Wade Incorporated, 311 Industrial Drive, Glasgow.
All right. Are you ready to go down memory lane?
I'm ready.
Learn about some of the things that got us here? It seems like it ought to be Monday today because because we sort of had a little break yesterday, but it was a wonderful, wonderful July the 4th, and a lot of special folks, special things going on.
I would agree.
So let's just look back 100 years, see what was going on so special in 1918.
Okay.
This is sort of this is how times have changed. 100 years ago, this story of the Glasgow Times, as I have been appointed the organizer of the Moonlight Schools of Barron County, and I feel the responsibility very seriously, I humbly beg and solicit the hearty cooperation of every teacher in the county, together with all of the preachers, every county official, and banker. In fact, all citizens are asked to lend a helping hand in this great cause. I earnestly hope, with the cooperation of the people of Barron County generally, to make this county a leader in this great work. Signed, G.W. Ellis. It was, that's what he was saying. Hey, look, I've been appointed to organize the Moonlight Schools, but I can't do it without all y'all, I guess is what he was saying.
Sounded kind of like a politician.
In a more sophisticated way. Yeah, that's right. It did sound like that. He was trying to get everybody on board. You stop and think about it.
Well, it's kind of like at the end, you're like, wait a minute, what did he say?
I like the Moonlight School idea. You know, a lot of things around here with an agricultural base, you can't do a lot of stuff in the dark. So let's use the daylight hours not to study, but to get the work done. Then we'll have the Moonlight Schools.
Yeah, so you're too exhausted to learn anything.
Well, I mean, you got to pace yourself. 1928, this was the day in the Glasgow Republican. It was reported that the territory left by the late Mr. H.C. Trigg on the Maple Driveway, consisting of 16 acres, was sold at auction last week and brought a total of $19,500. The sale was considered a success. Buyers were Alanson Trigg, J.W. Henderson, Wynn Davis, W.E. Scott, C.A. Goodman, J.J. Adams, Lucian Depp, Mrs. M.H. Cornelius, W.L. Porter, Fidela Edwards, W.G. Neely, H.B. Waller, Renfro and Gabbard, Mrs. O.F. Curd, and Bryce Leach.
Yeah, I like to see how. Never mind.
They got them all in there, That's a lot of folks here, but the whole area there, where Trigg Court is, that's where it was. And, I mean, where they're talking about. But they got all of it for $19,500. And there's several of those names in there who have descendants who live in there still. All right, we've got the story in 1938 for Sheriff L.B. Doyle. Sheriff Doyle is issuing his last notice to delinquents on dog license tags.
Oh my God!
We are obsessed with getting these dogs licensed. Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway,
I guarantee you that whoever was driving that got bit by some dog sometime, and they're like holding a grudge.
Well, here's the rest of the story. Patience has ceased to be a virtue with the sheriff, and as much as he hates to do it, he will start the dog wagon out in a few days to gather up and impound all dogs that do not have license tags. This is fair warning, and you should heed it. You still have time to save the embarrassment. If you act now, better act too.
They were seriously obsessed with dog licenses.
We're going to start the dog wagon.
There had to be like bigger issues, other things going on.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that Well, one of the things that I'm sure factored into it is that we didn't have quite the, I'm sure, the ways to fight rabies and other things like that back in the day.
It was a dog license thing. You know, there were hungry people. There were vets that were homeless. You know, there was stuff going on.
Yeah, well, this is what was going on.
Yeah, no joke.
Let's get these dogs licensed.
Yeah, let's put this priority number 1.
1948 in the news. Friends of the family were distressed when they learned that Harry Edward Kilgore, age 25, had been taken into custody by Warren County officers on a charge of the murder of Dr. and Mrs. C.B. Martin, age 80 and 79, respectively, at their home near Bowling Green. Now, interesting here, 1948, this is a double murder thing. You know, we hear about it. It's still, like, shocking.
It is.
Can you imagine in 1948 a double murder, and this Harry Edward Kilgore, his friends in the family were distressed to learn that he'd been charged with it.
Kind of makes you forget about the whole dog license.
That's
thing,
right. You know, it's like, hey, look at here. This probably can be traced to having a lack of licensed dogs.
The whole community's in chaos.
All right, 1958. Here we go. Joseph Joe Fasanella, founder of the Glasgow Dental Laboratory, is temporarily assigned to the Naval Mine School of Yorktown, Virginia, for 2 weeks instruction in naval mine countermeasures. Joe is a torpedo officer in the Ordnance Department of the Navy with 23 years of service. Joe has sold his interest in the dental lab to E.B. Francis, and on his return to Glasgow, he plans to open up a radio and TV service shop. This is a talented fellow right here, 1958, Joe Fasanella. He started up a Glasgow dental lab, but then it turns out they need his expertise in torpedoes, so he'll have to abandon that for a little while. But then when he comes back, he's going to do radio and TV repair.
There you go.
1958. 1968, we've got Miss Anita Adams has resigned her position with Doctors Weldon and Wells effective July the 1st. Following a training period in Lexington, she will be the instructor for the School for Practical Nurses. So what about that?
There you go.
She wants to further her education so that she can help others further their education. Miss Anita Adams, 1968. 1978, we've got, you remember we had the Lord's store?
I mean, I don't remember, but I remember.
No, but I mean, we had it down there. It was going out of business.
Right.
So the archivist here puts in the parentheses, this day in 1978, Lord's going out of business, and in parentheses, still.
Still going out of business.
Half price. Everything must go. And we're gonna stay at it till it does go too. Central Center Shopping Center, Lord's Store.
I wonder how long they were going out of business.
I don't know. You know, there is I think there's a regulation now that you can't get a license to go out of business you know, and just keep going out of business forever. You got a certain number of days, I think.
Because, again, that should be a top priority.
Yeah, that's right. That's a different kind of a license.
Oh, my Lord.
1988. I missed this, but I understand. 1988, this was the opening day for the Horse Cave Theater's 12th season. And the play was Noises Off. And that was in 1988, the opening of the Horse Cave Theater. And they knew how to open it up right, for sure. There was always a gala celebration, a nice little get-together, and something that our heritage now, we're proud of it as our heritage. We miss it as our way of life.
I would agree.
This day in 1998, we have news about a Horse Cave businessman. Mr. Cleo Neville died this day in 1998, and that's a stalwart name in the Horse Cave, the Neville name. And but anyway, lost Mr. Cleo back in 1998. 2008, 10 years ago. This was interesting. I mean, I remember the discussion about it.
Oh, Lord.
Governor Steve Beshear announced cable barriers will be installed 44.1 miles along I-65 in Bullitt, Hardin, Hart, and Barron counties. You know, it's those cable wires that are running up and down the interstate.
Right.
Kind of a sort of a guardrail, I guess. But anyway, just to stop you from automatically just going out, at least it'll slow you down some.
People can say what they want to about Steve Beshear.
Yeah.
Best selfie taker ever.
That's right. You got him hanging all over your office.
And the day he came into this radio station,
he's looking down on you.
I was like a 16-year-old girl, and Justin Bieber walked in the front door.
That's right.
Trying to tell you.
Well, that's why we have these pictures up there. Lots of them. Quite the wall of honor.
Yes.
But anyway, that was back in 2008. We got those wires up and down I-65.
Look at him looking out for safety.
That's right, and I would say that it has made a difference.
I would guarantee it.
That's what I'm going to say, at least. It's in the archives. That's the way we summarize some of these things that happen around here. And we do really appreciate the hard work of all the folks at the South Central Kentucky Cultural Center. It takes a lot of volunteers to run that place, and there's never enough. And I dare say that it's been a few days since I've talked to Sherry Wesley, but she'll tell you we still need more volunteers.
Yeah, some of you parents, I know your kids are on their nerves. They're out of school. Go down there and volunteer.
That's right. The Cultural Center.
Get away from them for a minute.
Thanks to Joseph A. Wade Industrial Hardware Services for sponsoring the archives and for understanding the importance of making sure that we keep a handle on our history. 78 degrees at WCLU.
Glasgow Prescription Center is the culmination of my husband's professional career. When he took over GPC, he didn't want to be just good. He'd already done that. He wanted to be great. And I think his patients would agree that he's done just that. Could he get by with a smaller staff? Sure. The gift shop, the flower shop, delivery people, a brand new facility, none of those things are required to have a pharmacy, but that's why it's not just a good pharmacy, it's a great one. I'm really excited to see what Robert is going to do next because I know he's going to put his heart into it.
The future face of Pedigo Lessenberry. Through expert analysis, we've confirmed their potential. With intense training, we've prepared them for any occurrence. We've taken their strengths and made them stronger. Now it's time to see what they're made of. Presenting the future face of ISU Pedigo Lessenberry Insurance.
Hello, I'm Jared Pursley. And I'm Daniel Bird. And we're more than prepared to serve you here at ISU Pedigo Lessenberry Insurance. Growing with a proud community since 1902.
Lessenberry Do-It Center is Glasgow's only locally owned hardware store, and that means a lot to me. Lessenberry's has been in business for over 100 years. I walk in the store, they know who I am, and I get the help that I need. For me, Lessenberry's is the easiest place for me to shop, simply because it's a local family-owned business, and I feel comfortable when I'm there. And I'm glad there's still a place like that in Glasgow I can go to.
This Saturday will be one to remember at Glasgow Southgate Houchins Market. Why? Because this Saturday, it's Stuff the Bus. Now, we've all heard about the big Stuff the Bus event that goes on annually in Bowling Green. But on Saturday, July the 7th, Stuff the Bus is coming to Glasgow and teaming up with Houchins IGA to raise as much money and supplies as possible for local students here in Glasgow and Barron County. On Saturday from 9 a.m. until noon, any items on the Stuff the Bus checklist purchased at Glasgow Southgate Houchins and donated at the Stuff the Bus table set up right outside will be matched by Houchins Industries. Go online to WCLU's Facebook or onto Stuff the Bus's website, StuffTheBusKY.com, to see the full checklist and find out how to help even more. And don't forget to come out and support local students by shopping at Southgate Houchins in Glasgow, right off of S.L. Roger Wells Boulevard in Glasgow, and donating to Stuff the Bus on Saturday, July the 7th.
I meant to have one of these little cards that they're selling at all of the area Houchins and junior food stores to Stuff the Bus and to make a donation. I think it's $1 for the card, big yellow bus. pick yours up today, and in other words, the event is the big event's going to be 9 until noon on Saturday. But you can start right now getting those cards purchased so you can stuff the bus and get ready to make a big difference as the Barron County part of Stuff the Bus is going to, I hope, break a few records. We'll see. But it can't be done unless you go ahead and get involved in it. 6:51, 78 degrees, WCLU weather brought to you by South Central Bank.
Hi, I'm Fred Parrish here at Parrish Carpet in Glasgow, Kentucky. My parents started this business over 50 years ago, so we know flooring here at Parrish Carpet. We have a large showroom and a big selection in stock. We do custom binding and we do free estimates. We've served a lot of people in the 50-plus years, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you. So if you have a flooring need, come see us at Parrish Carpet.
FDIC.
A heat advisory is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Clear this morning, then a sunny, hot, and humid afternoon with a high soaring to 96 and a triple-digit heat index when you factor in the humidity level. There will be a slight chance for a shower thunderstorm late in the day, and there's scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight with a low of 73. Another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 85 as cooler air arrives. And then a sunny weekend with a high temperature on Saturday hitting the mid-80s, then a high temperature topping out the upper 80s Sunday. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel on WCLU, your home for local.
I like when he says let's factor in the humidity level. There's no way you can't factor it in because it's just, you feel it. You won't forget it. Right now, the humidity is at 97%. Winds out of the east at 5 miles an hour. Pressure's up at 30.22. And we've had under certain clouds yesterday up to about 0.11 of an inch of rain. And I know some folks who got caught in some of that, and others said, what rain? It's just the way it is this time of the year. And we're at 78 degrees at WCLU this morning. Weather brought to you by your friends at South Central Bank.
TJ Sampson, providing TLC, Total Local Care, 24/7. My husband and I were both admitted to TJ Sampson. They were so good to us, and we will always go back to TJ, your local health care provider. Total Local Care, 24/7.
6:53 WCLU this morning as we are pointing our feet in the right direction to get rolling. It's going to feel like Monday for a little while at least because yesterday was the holiday and all that. But we can just enjoy coasting into the weekend. Let me add Scotty Sanderson to the birthday list today. It is Scotty Sanderson. Happy birthday, Scotty. Glasgow First Presbyterian Church Vacation Bible School is going to begin July the 9th through the 12th from 9 a.m. until noon. Classes will be for children through the 7th grade. There's an evening program on Thursday at 6 p.m. The public is invited. Activities include Bible study, crafts, recreation, singing, and fellowship. The theme this year is Adventures of the Treasure Seekers, exploring God's promises. For information, call the church office this morning at 651-2818. 651-2818. Also, Highland Hills Community Church having their Vacation Bible School July the 15th through the 18th, 5:30 till 8:30. The theme is Shipwrecked, Rescue by Jesus. The church is located at 200 South Race Street. And we're at 6:55. Coming back, it'll be time for trivia to show your smarts.
Uh-oh, it's official. I'm retiring next week.
Well, that's a good thing as long as you've been preparing for it.
But I'm not ready. I kept saying I'll get around to it.
Hello, I'm Anthony Mites, your local Modern Woodman financial representative. Don't be like Miss I'll get around to it. Call me today at 427-6807.
Get to know your local Modern Woodman representative to plan for your financial future and learn about valuable member benefits. Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures. Securities offered through MWA Financial Services, Inc., a wholly owned subsidiary of Modern Woodman of America.
Growth begins with an idea. At the People's Bank, that idea is to give you the banking service you deserve. We carry out that idea in everything we do. In fact, it's become our motto, working for you. As that idea continues to grow, let us work for you at our new location, 1300 West Main Street, opening this summer. Let us be the place where your ideas begin, where you get the banking you deserve. Come grow with us. The People's Bank, working for you.
Member FDIC, equal housing.
Check out the deals at Gilliard Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Save big on summer adventure during our Jeep Celebration event. How about saving up to $5,800 off the factory MSRP on a new 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee? Or choose up to $4,000 off the new 2018 Jeep Renegade. Now you can save up to $3,750 off on the newly redesigned 2019 Jeep Cherokee. If car shopping makes you nervous, come to the home of legendary service.
Okay, 6:56 WCLU. Hopefully you are up and running today, and hopefully you're in a good mood to win a big fish dinner at Long John's A&W. We're talking about fish and more is what you win. And let's see, what is today? Thursday? Yes. Well, today is Thursday. Tomorrow it's Crab Cake Friday out at Long John's. What's he talking about?
Do you know what day it is? Well, it pays to know, because Long John Silver's in Glasgow is announcing some show-stopping deals for you and your family. Every Sunday from 11 till 7, it's all-you-can-eat fish and chicken for $8.99. Bring your friends and family on Sundays and get all-you-can-eat fish and chicken $8.99. If it's Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday. Get a fish taco for 99 cents. Friday, it's crab cakes, just 99 cents each. These are limited-time deals, so get to Long John's in Glasgow today.
Here we go with a trivia question. 651-9149, 800-956-1023. Show your smarts and win a fish and more dinner. We have a lot of smart folks around here. Let's just see how we do with today's question. What word was first spoken in the 1942 movie Bambi long before social media? But it might remind you of social media. This word was first spoken on the big screen, 1942, in the movie Bambi, long before social media. What is that word? Okay, Bambi fans. Social media fans? Trivia?
Google?
No, it's not right. But that's a good, that's certainly associated with social media. 1942, the big screen, this word came up. Trivia.
Selfie.
No, it's not right. This is a word that goes back to 1942. Trivia.
Twitter.
No, that's not right. 1942 movie Bambi, long before social media. What was the word?
I gotta come on with.
Hello, Trivia.
Yes, Twitter pated.
That's it. Who's this speaking?
Lisa Veerstra.
Hello, Lisa Veerstra. How are you? Now, why are you laughing at your name?
Because my daughter really had it, but she was getting ready to go to work, so
Yeah.
I called for her.
Well, that's okay. Now, you can divide fishes and loaves, can't you there, Lisa Veerstra?
We can do that.
Is that Vierstra?
Very good, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now, so what about Bambi? What goes on between you and your daughter that would let you know about an old Bambi movie?
Just because she watched it a million times as a kid.
Yeah.
So it was the little birds and everything, so yes.
Yeah. So she remembers it from her childhood.
That she does.
Let's see here. Let's see. The word first spoken in the 1942 film Bambi means love-struck, besotted, silly, or scatterbrained. Now, this is according to the Oxford English Dictionary. I have a great deal of respect for that publication, but it's to get love-struck and scatterbrained in the same definition. That doesn't seem quite fair, does it, Lisa?
No, but appropriate.
Well, I guess that's right. It can be, but that's sort of a broad definition, nonetheless. But anyway, if you're Twitter-pated today, you could be love-struck, or you could just be scatterbrained, or even silly. But nonetheless, y'all have done a good job to come up with the word and to win trivia today, Lisa. So you can congratulate your daughter, and I congratulate you, and thank you for joining us for trivia today, madam.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. It's Lisa Veerstra. Lisa Veerstra, working in cooperation with her daughter, came up with the word Twitter-pated. That's right, Twitter-pated. First seen in the 1942 classic Bambi. we'll play tomorrow. You never know when it's something that you and maybe your youngster discussed and can work together. It's part of what we do around here, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks to Long John's A&W. You will be Twitter-pated over those crab cakes that they have tomorrow. So get out there at Long John's.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Those are the words of the great 19th century playwright Oscar Wilde, and those words are still true as it relates to where you fill your prescriptions, get fit for medical devices, and purchase gifts for holidays and special occasions. I'm Robert Oliver, pharmacist and owner of the Glasgow Prescription Center in the Southgate Plaza, and I proudly and unapologetically would like to state that there's only one Glasgow Prescription Center. Growing up in this community, I've seen many pharmacists come and go, and being active and serving in our Chamber of Commerce, I can also say proudly that I believe our future is bright. That's why I've invested in having the best facilities and continue to invest in having a staff that represents the quality of service Glasgow Prescription Center has strived for since 1970 and continues to deliver today. So as the decades pass and the landscape of our community changes, you can guarantee there's only one Glasgow Prescription Center, and while we're subject to imitation, you'll never find a duplication of our commitment to you and our hometown.
CBS News Update. At least 60 wildfires are now burning in the U.S., most of them in the West. Firefighters in Eagle County, Colorado are hoping thunderstorms and rain today will help douse flames that have burned more than 100 homes, forcing evacuations from more than 2,000 others.
We're scared, right? But we have our pets, we have our kids, and we're going.
The Lake Christine fire has burned through nearly 2.5 million acres since January.
Nerve-wracking, actually. The wind has been blowing all day rather strong.
The largest of the wildfires is in Northern California. CBS's John Blackstone is in Yolo County.
Firefighting helicopters flew into thick smoke battling a massive wildfire that's burned more than 80,000 acres in 3 rural counties west of Sacramento. Nearly 3,000 firefighters have been working around the clock, fighting backfires and building a containment line in an effort to keep the flames at bay.
CBS News Update. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Why the name Fire Pit Spirits? Because your beverage of choice is meant to be enjoyed with good friends, celebrating life, happiness, or just the end of a hard week of work. And, as always, it's meant to be consumed responsibly. So, whatever you're celebrating, gather round your fire pit, because good times are made with the ones you choose to keep in your circle. Fire Pit Spirits. Best selection, best service, best friends.
The university scientists have long hypothesized, where does the magic man get his magic? The phenomenon that is the magic man is considered one of the great wonders of science. Truth be told, there is no science greater than magic. And that's why the mystery remains.
Hi, I'm Eddie Bruner, and yes, technically I am the magic man, but there's no magic to it. It's honesty, knowledge, and paying the best prices I can pay.
Glasgow Prescription Center is the culmination of my husband's professional career. When he took over GPC, he didn't want to be just good. He'd already done that. He wanted to be great. And I think his patients would agree that he's done just that. Could he get by with a smaller staff? Sure. The gift shop, the flower shop, delivery people, a brand new facility, none of those things are required to have a pharmacy, but that's why it's not just a good pharmacy, it's a great one. I'm really excited to see what Robert is going to do next because I know he's going to put his heart into it.
Who will be the future face of Pedigo Lessenberry? Through expert analysis, we've confirmed their potential. With intense training, we've prepared them for any occurrence. We've taken their strengths and made them stronger. Now it's time to see what they're made of. Presenting the future face of ISU Pedigo Lessenberry Insurance.
Hello, I'm Jared Pursley. And I'm Daniel Bird. And we're more than prepared to serve you here at ISU Pedigo Lessenberry Insurance, growing with a proud community.
705, 78 degrees, a heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. We're steaming out there this morning, humidity up at 97%. East winds at 5 miles an hour. The forecast says it looks like we're going to be doing this all throughout the day, but then maybe tomorrow some things will move in that we can kind of rely on cooling us down just a little bit. Let's go to the newsroom now as our update of local news at 7 o'clock. And here is News Director Angela Briggs. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, Henry. Tuesday evening accident claims the life of a Glasgow man. Around 6:30 Tuesday evening, the Barron County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to an injury accident on Happy Valley Road just outside the Cave City limits. 19-year-old Mark Detweiler of Munfordville told deputies he was traveling eastbound in his 2011 Chevy Camaro when he lost control due to water pooling on the roadway. He traveled across the center line, striking a 2013 Nissan Rogue head-on. The driver of the Rogue, 51-year-old John Goad of Glasgow, was pronounced dead at the scene. His passenger, 55-year-old Laura Goad, was flown from the scene to University of Louisville Hospital for treatment. Detweiler was also flown to U of L for treatment of serious injuries he sustained in the accident. The Sheriff's Office was assisted by Glasgow Police, Cave City Police, Cave City Fire, Park City Fire, Barron County Coroner's Office, Emergency Management, and Barron Metcalf EMS. Hatcher and Sadler Funeral Home is handling Mr. Goad's arrangements. U.S. Senator Rand Paul says he still has trouble breathing since he was tackled in his yard 8 months ago by a neighbor who was given a 30-day sentence, a punishment the Kentucky Republican thinks should have been harsher. Paul told his hometown newspaper that too often people seem to think that violence is the answer, and one way to stop that trend is with punishments that fit the crime. Now, Paul suffered multiple broken ribs in the attack last November while he was doing yard work at his home. His neighbor, Renee Boucher, pleaded guilty to assaulting a member of Congress and was sentenced last month. At the sentencing, Boucher admitted that what he did was wrong and asked forgiveness from Paul's family, but said he would understand if they weren't ready to grant it. Boucher said he was triggered by Paul's repeatedly stacking debris near their property line, and he lost his temper. Federal prosecutors who saw the 21-month sentence are appealing the 30-day sentence. Paul said after the sentencing that 21 months would have been appropriate. Now, Paul's filed a civil suit against Boucher asking for medical costs and attorney fees related to the incident. Boucher's attorney responded with a motion seeking to dismiss part of that civil suit, filed a countersuit claiming Paul paid no out-of-pocket medical cost. Recounting the attack, Paul told the newspaper it was like the pain of 1,000 knives. 8 months later, the senator's handling routine duties, but said he still has trouble breathing. The pain is now more of a chronic pain. Also this week, Paul said he and his family were targeted by someone threatening to attack them with an axe. The Trump administration's drive to wean poor people from government benefits by making them work has been slowed by a federal judge framing a fundamental question: are poverty programs meant to show tough love or to help the needy? U.S. District Judge James Boasberg in Washington said last week he actually halted Kentucky's first in the nation experiment with Medicaid work requirements, ruling that the Trump administration glossed over potential coverage losses. He sent the state's plan back to the federal authorities for a harder look. Boasberg found that medical assistance is by law a central objective of Medicaid. And while work requirements might be allowable if that's what a state wants, there may be limits to how much coverage loss is too much. Kentucky's Republican Governor Matt Bevin wanted to impose work requirements on some 428,000 state residents who got Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act's expansion. The state estimated that work requirements would save money, reducing the Medicaid rolls by about 95,000 people over 5 years. Now, that number got the judge's attention. Boasberg ruled that the Federal Health and Human Services Department did not dig deeply enough into potential coverage losses. The department paid no attention to that deprivation, he wrote. This oversight is glaring, amounting to rubber stamping the state's request. Now, although state and federal officials contend that many people leaving Medicaid would find private coverage, Boasberg said there was no hard analysis and no bottom line estimate. The ruling seemed to catch the Trump administration unprepared. Seema Verma, head of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, called the ruling disappointing. The administration may appeal or it may rerun its evaluation of the Kentucky plan to meet the judge's concern. This week, Bevin did cut medical and dental vision coverage in response to the judge's ruling. Right now it's 7:10 a.m. on this Thursday morning, 78 degrees.
Lesenberry Do-It Center is Glasgow's only locally owned hardware store, and that means a lot to me. Lesenberry's has been in business for over 100 years. I walk in the store, they know who I am, and I get the help that I need. For me, Lesenberry's is the easiest place for me to shop, simply because it's a local family-owned business, and I feel comfortable when I'm there. And I'm glad there's still a place like that in Glasgow I can go to.
Hi, I'm Fred Parrish here at Parrish Carpet in Glasgow, Kentucky. My parents started this business over 50 years ago, so we know flooring here at Parrish Carpet. We have a large showroom and a big selection in stock. We do custom binding and we do free estimates. We've served a lot of people in the 50+ years, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you. So if you have a flooring need, come see us at Parrish Carpet.
TJ Sampson, providing TLC, Total Local Care, 24/7. My husband and I were both admitted to TJ Sampson. They were so good to us, and we will always go back to TJ, your local health care provider. Total Local Care, 24/7.
Growth begins with an idea. At the People's Bank, that idea is to give you the banking service you deserve. We carry out that idea in everything we do. In fact, it's become our motto, working for you. As that idea continues to grow, let us work for you at our new location, 1300 West Main Street, opening this summer. Let us be the place where your ideas begin, where you get the banking you deserve. Come grow with us. The People's Bank, working for you.
Member FDIC. Check out the deals at Gilliard Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Save big on summer adventure during our Jeep Celebration event. How about saving up to $5,800 off the factory MSRP on a new 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee? Or choose up to $4,000 off the new 2018 Jeep Renegade. Now you can save up to $3,750 off on the newly redesigned 2019 Jeep Cherokee. If car shopping makes you nervous, come to the home of legendary service.
Why the name Fire Pit Spirits? Because your beverage of choice is meant to be enjoyed with good friends, celebrating life, happiness, or just the end of a hard week of work. And, as always, it's meant to be consumed responsibly. So, whatever you're celebrating, gather round your fire pit, because good times are made with the ones you choose to keep in your circle. Fire Pit Spirits. Best selection, best service, best friends.
Up your appointment.
In more local news, whiskey barrels were piled in a mountainous heap yesterday after the rest of a whiskey storage warehouse collapsed nearly 2 weeks after part of the decades-old structure came crashing down. The remainder of the massive structure collapsed at the Barton 1792 distillery in Bardstown. Environmental and wildlife officials were at the scene to determine if any whiskey spilled into a nearby waterway. The distillery owner, Sazerac, a Louisiana-based spirits company, already was facing a state fine stemming from the initial collapse. In a statement, the company said its employees worked quickly to contain the spill, with none of the new runoff entering any waterways. After the initial collapse last month, the company said the damaged warehouse had held about 18,000 barrels of aging spirits. Up to half the barrels inside were affected by the first collapse. Now, cleanup crews have been at the scene for days. The company's called in more resources after the second collapse. The warehouse was built in the 1940s. Following the first collapse, the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet spokesman said that Sazerac would be cited for failing to report the spill of whiskey in a timely manner and for polluting Kentucky waterways. The spokesman said Barton 1792 moved quickly to stop the alcohol from entering the creek but didn't alert the state fast enough. Whiskey flowing into a nearby stream and river killed about 800 fish after the initial collapse. Officials said Bardstown is about 40 miles south of Louisville. A diagnosis of diabetes can be overwhelming, especially for a child, and a Kentucky program is working to provide emotional support for kids with type 1 diabetes and their families. The Family Link program is a collaboration of the American Diabetes Association and UK Healthcare's Barnstable Brown Diabetes Center. Dr. Laura Hernamos at the center explains patients have a lot to figure on when they're first diagnosed, including how to use insulin and properly monitoring their blood glucose levels. And as its name implies, Family Link connects families who are on that same journey.
It's very much a support system. If they meet other children and adolescents who have diabetes, they see that there are other people with the disease and that they can live healthy with it.
More than 3,000 Kentucky kids are estimated to be living with diabetes. Paul Gerhardt of Richmond says she was a bit frightened when her son was first diagnosed, but some of that fear dissipated after meeting other families in the program. Her son has even become a Family Link Youth Ambassador.
My son doesn't like other kids to know at school that he's got type 1, so the majority of them have no idea. But he enjoys our outings and things because he's just like everyone else, not different at all. And being a youth ambassador has really boosted his self-esteem and his self-confidence.
Hieronymus says the most important thing for people with diabetes is to stay informed, and Family Link offers educational programming and service referrals for pediatric patients.
Things change on a regular basis. New technology comes out, new medications come out, new guidelines, and you really want to stay abreast of all of that new information and the things that can potentially make the life with diabetes more manageable.
Family Link members also attend special outings during the year, including baseball games, fairs, and picnics. She adds they're working to spread the word across the state so more families can get involved. And in local 911 activity, a recreational vehicle accident on Birch Tree Lane yesterday evening. There was a field fire on Shalimar Drive in Glasgow. There was a fire on Sunset Avenue and a house fire on Nobob Road. For WCLU Local News, I'm Angela Briggs. It's 7:17 a.m., 78 degrees.
From the Kentucky News Network, I'm Jaleesa Chapman. The second half of a building housing thousands of barrels of aging liquor collapses in Bardstown.
It happened around 2:30 Wednesday afternoon. Valerie Nevitt, who lives nearby, tells WLKY she heard a boom.
When we took the dog out and saw it, then it was like, oh my God, here we go.
Nelson County Emergency Management says about 9,000 barrels of aging spirits were affected during the first collapse on June 22nd. No injuries were reported in either collapse. I'm Suzanne Duval.
Franklin County authorities have arrested one man while another remains at large in connection with a woman's death. 39-year-old Margaret Smith was found shot to death inside her Frankfort home Tuesday morning. Police arrested Billy Turner Tuesday night. He faces complicity to murder and complicity tampering with evidence charges. Franklin County Sheriff Pat Melton says an arrest warrant is out for 38-year-old Derek Garden.
He does have a drug addiction, and we're very aware of that. So obviously, he's not making some rational decisions.
Smith had an emergency protective order against Garden when she was killed. A former Northern Kentuckian will face a federal judge today accused of committing hate crimes in Virginia. James Fields was indicted last week on more than 24 charges. Prosecutors say Fields drove his car into a group of counter-protesters at a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, killing one person and injuring several others. A strong unexpected storm left behind damage Wednesday evening in Paintsville. The pastor of Paintsville's First Baptist Church says he was spending time with friends in the church's parking lot when the severe weather began. He tells WIMT that members began to hold their tents down in order to keep them from blowing away.
One of our ladies who was holding the tent actually picked her up off the ground and set her back down. And then 5 minutes into this burst, somebody from in the church says the steeple's gone.
The National Weather Service plans to survey the storm damage this morning. I'm Jaleesa Chapman.
This is the Kentucky News Network.
Fun summer vibes at the Kentucky State Fair, August 16th through the 26th. Hear all your favorite tunes at the Texas Roadhouse Concert Series in the new Bluegrass Village. 11 nights, 26 bands, all free. And that's just the beginning. The Kentucky State Fair has thrilling rides, mouth-watering food, the World's Championship Horse Show, and much more. For tickets and info, visit kystatefair.org today. The Kentucky State Fair, presented by Rallies.
Bring back those summer vibes.
The PGA Tour is coming to Lexington. See some of the finest golfers from around the world compete in the Barbasol Championship. Get up close and personal to golf greats July 16th through the 22nd at Champions at Keene Trace. Get your tickets now by visiting BarbasolChampionshipKY.com. It's the countdown to the Barbasol Championship as the PGA comes to the Bluegrass. For tickets, parking passes, and a complete schedule of events, go to BarbasolChampionshipKY.com.
The Weather Channel brings you the latest forecast. Sponsored by Southern States in Glasgow.
The home for Holland Grills in Southern Kentucky is Southern States. For more than 30 years, Holland has been building America's greatest grill. The Holland Grill is easy to use and gives you moist, juicy, tender food each and every time you grill. Southern States carries a great selection of Holland Grills, ready to be put into service today. The only grill made which offers a no flare-up guarantee in writing. And listen for details on the summer propane fill-up promotion coming soon to Southern States in Glasgow.
A heat advisory is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Clear this morning, then a sunny, hot, and humid afternoon with a high soaring to 96 and a triple-digit heat index when you factor in the humidity level. There will be a slight chance for a shower thunderstorm late in the day, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight with a low 73. Another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 85 as cooler air arrives. And then a sunny weekend with a high temperature on Saturday hitting the mid-80s, then a high temperature topping out the upper 80s Sunday. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel on WCLU, your home for local.
Thank you, Jeff. Quiet start on the WCLU constant coverage and studio radar screen this morning. Can't even find a little blip of green out there. It's just all clear. We do have that potential for some to kind of bounce in here, but like yesterday, you got to be under the right cloud. Some folks got about 1,100 of an inch of rain yesterday. 30.22 is the pressure. The winds are out of the east at 5 miles an hour. 97% humidity, and we're at 78 degrees at WCLU. Weather brought to you by Southern States. 7:22. Let's update sports.
Here's the score from the Kentucky News Network. I'm Scott Fitzgerald. Well, the Reds playing their final game against the Chicago White Sox along the banks of the Ohio on a very hot July 4th yesterday.
Covey back to the set, and he turns it loose. Line drive up the middle. That's a base hit. Winker rounding third, coming to the plate to throw way over the catcher. That'll score a run. And the Reds lead 5-3 here in this one.
Jose Peraza hitting that 2-run RBI single. That in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Reds were going to beat the White Sox 7-4. Sal Romano improving to 8-5 with the win, and says, well, he simply just trusts their offense.
The offense is, it's our offense. We're never down. Doesn't matter how many runs we're down. They're able to come back and swing it. And I knew what they were going to be able to do, and they did just that.
The Reds are off today. They'll wrap up the first half of the season, starting a series with the Cubs at Wrigley Field tomorrow night. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, Tommy Pham had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. The Cardinals doubled up the Diamondbacks 8-4 at Chase Field. The Birds now head to the coast to take on the San Francisco Giants for 4. The University of Kentucky basketball team will play 4 exhibition games in the Bahamas next month. The Big Blue will play the Bahamas national team on August 8th to open their trip abroad. The regular season tips off against Duke on November 6th in Indianapolis. And news from the pitch now. Louisville FC forward Cameron Lancaster has been selected to this week's USL Team of the Week. Saturday against the New York Red Bulls 2, Lancaster scored twice, including a highlight reel finish from 45 yards to put Louisville up at halftime, what turned out to be a 3-3 draw. The team is at Tampa Bay Saturday night. 8 teams are still alive at the World Cup in Russia as the quarterfinals open. Uruguay meets France and Belgium takes on Brazil. Russia and Croatia will clash tomorrow, as do Sweden and England. The semifinals are set for Tuesday. And finally in tennis, both Venus and Serena Williams are into round 3 at Wimbledon in London. Serena defeating Victoria Tomova 6-1, 6-4, while Venus dispatched Alexander Dolguru, that in 3 sets. I'm Scott Fitzgerald.
This is the Kentucky News Network.
The university scientists have long hypothesized, where does the magic man get his magic? The phenomenon that is the magic man is considered one of the great wonders of science. Truth be told, there is no science greater than magic. And that's why the mystery remains.
Hi, I'm Eddie Bruner, and yes, technically I am the magic man, but there's no magic to it. It's honesty, knowledge, and paying the best prices I can pay.
Glasgow Prescription Center is the culmination of my husband's professional career. When he took over GPC, he didn't want to be just good, he'd already done that. He wanted to be great. And I think his patients would agree that he's done just that. Could he get by with a smaller staff? Sure. The gift shop, the flower shop, delivery people, a brand new facility, none of those things are required to have a pharmacy, but that's why it's not just a good pharmacy, it's a great one. I'm really excited to see what Robert is going to do next because I know he's going to put his heart into it.
You may have heard that Stuff the Bus is coming to Glasgow this Saturday, July the 7th. But even if you can't come out this Saturday and help donate, there are still ways to help all throughout this week. From Saturday, June the 30th, all the way to Saturday, July the 7th, you can purchase a Stuff the Bus mobile pinup for only $1 at your local Houchins Market in Glasgow and Barron County. All funds raised from these purchases will be donated to the Stuff the Bus Foundation to help local students here in our community. Go online to WCLUradio.com or to StuffTheBusKY.com to find out more info.
The future face of Pedigo Lessenberry. Through expert analysis, we've confirmed their potential. With intense training, we've prepared them for any occurrence. We've taken their strengths and made them stronger. Now it's time to see what they're made of. Presenting the future face of ISU Pedigo Lessenberry Insurance.
Hello, I'm Jared Pursley. And I'm Daniel Bird. And we're more than prepared to serve you here at ISU Pedigo Lessenberry Insurance.
Growing with a proud community since 1902.
Lessenberry Do-It Center is Glasgow's only locally owned hardware store, and that means a lot to me. Lessenberry's has been in business for over 100 years. I walk in the store, they know who I am, and I get the help that I need. For me, Lessenberry's is the easiest place for me to shop, simply because it's a local family-owned business, and I feel comfortable when I'm there. And I'm glad there's still a place like that in Glasgow I can go to.
Hi, I'm Fred Parrish here at Parrish Carpet in Glasgow, Kentucky. My parents started this business over 50 years ago, so we know flooring here at Parrish Carpet. We have a large showroom and a big selection in stock. We do custom binding and we do free estimates. We've served a lot of people in the 50-plus years, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you. So if you have a flooring need, come see us at Parrish Carpet.
All your fueling needs.
All right, I'm busy writing down birthdays as we speak. I'll make sure I spell this right, and I'm going to give you the whole birthday list here just in a quick second on WCLU. I just got to get all my act together right here, which can't be done in a short period of time, I assure you. But we do want to remind you, coming up on Friday nights this summer, it's the 7-Eleven Hoops and More at the Avenue Church on Columbia Avenue. And then on every Saturday night at Bunce Center during June and July for the summer, 7 till 11 p.m. for 6th through 12th graders. Food is served. Come out and enjoy basketball and other special events. The 7-Eleven Hoops and More.
When the skies are gray and the weather won't cooperate, think of all the great days that lie ahead. And one company can make every day better. Time Savers. Whether you need a little help or a lot, a ride to the grocery store or to the airport, a load of laundry washed or meals prepared, a week of round-the-clock care, or months of a few hours a day, Time Savers is the only service that does it all. I'm Elizabeth Downing, and we have built Time Savers to reflect everything we want for our own families. So chase away the clouds and let Time Savers brighten your days. Call us at 270-792-5703 or go to mytimesaversky.com. That's 270-792-5703 or mytimesaversky.com.
When was the last time you got your Ralphie on? What's getting your Ralphie on, you ask? When you're winning prizes and lighting up the score in the arcade, you're getting your Ralphie on. When you're dancing under the lights on roller skates, you've turned on your inner Ralphies. When you bring your coworkers to bowl in the business league, your office staff has clocked in on Ralphie's time. If you suffer from symptoms such as lack of fun, feeling bored, if you get frequent urges to act like it's your birthday, or if you're just not smiling enough, you need to go to Ralphie's. That's Ralphie's Fun Center in Glasgow. A great place for any party, event, field trip, or church group. Get your Ralphie on.
It's always fun when you go to Ralphie's Fun Center. Nothing wrong with that at all, because We need some fun. Some fun birthdays to tell you about today, like Scotty Sanderson, who is celebrating. We had a very proud grandmama call up to wish a Darian Boyd a happy 12th birthday today. Melvin Lemons is 82. Shannon England with a birthday. We also have Tammy Wood celebrating. It's Marie Paul celebrating today, too. Jackson Travis is 6. Rodney Trigg is 57. Brittany Stewart is 23 today, and she is our Good as Gold honoree. By special request, Brittany was nominated here. I'm reading from the nomination form straight. It's her birthday today, and we're able to pat Brittany Stewart on the back today from WCLU and a Little Taste of Texas. 23. We also have Vicky Bunch having a birthday. Sean Hayden is 36. That's Sean Hayden, 36. Jean Bunch has a birthday. Anniversaries, Jim and Theresa Nelson. Danny and Melissa Crumpton, number 21 for the Crumptons. How's that for a nice list of folks? Giving away a birthday cake to somebody on this list in about an hour from now. And also a beautiful, that birthday cake, by the way, is from Dairy Queen. And boy, do they know how to make a birthday cake. Indeed. DQ. And also, we're giving away a Greer's Rose. That's right, a beautiful rose from Greer's Florist to some lucky person on this list. So better get those names in there. 81 degrees, 731 WCLU. Coming back, we're going to do some tidbit news on this Thursday morning.
Extreme Fitness members are there for the right reason.
I feel like if you're going to the gym, you are in the process of developing a better you. It's something you're always going to be wanting to do, and the gym gives you that to go in and crush your daily goal, but to always be developing a better you. I choose Extreme because of the family atmosphere. Everybody there knows you by name. You always see a friendly face, and that's why I choose Extreme.
So what can excellent facilities, dedicated staff, and a welcoming atmosphere do for you? Head to Extreme Fitness to find out.
Bring your whole family to Farmers RECC annual meeting Thursday, July 12th at the Cave City Convention Center. Registration begins at 5:30. A performance by the Martin Family Circus beginning at 6. Register for a chance to win one of 10 $100 gift cards, and for graduating high school seniors and above, the chance to win a Farmers RECC scholarship. Mark your calendar for Farmers RECC's annual meeting Thursday, July 12th. Details at farmersrecc.com or follow us on Facebook.
I am TJ Sampson, providing TLC, Total Local Care, 24/7. My husband and I were both admitted to TJ Sampson. They were so good to us, and we will always go back to TJ, your local health care provider. Total Local Care, 24/7.
My kids are always telling me Holiday World and Splash and Safari is the best, but I needed to test which one they love most. So, like any loving mom, I flung them backwards, up and over hill after hill on Mammoth, the world's longest water coaster. Next up, a surf war in all 3 wave pools, including Tembo Tides, the newest way for the little ones to get their feet wet. Don't worry, I dried them off by dropping them from 70 feet in the air on Liberty Launch, a family favorite. Our final piece of scientific evidence came in the form of the double helix after subjecting them to 5 pitch-black tunnels on the Legend.
No matter what you think is the best at Holiday World, get your trip started with our Pick Your Price calendar and find the days that work best with your budget, only at holidayworld.com.
Turns out it's a tie. Holiday World and Splash and Safari are both the best.
Free soft drinks, free parking, free sunscreen!
From the north, south, east, west, NEWS, here's the latest news.
From around the world and up the street, it is Tidbit News, where we, well, what do? We look at things from a perspective of not necessarily the headlines.
We make fun of people.
Well, we could do that, but we, you know.
We do.
Or I do.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Just saying.
Credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
A lot of times the tidbit news stories are a little lame on the day after a holiday like July the 4th.
Are you trying to tell me you've got lame tidbits?
Well, we've got one we can always rely on.
Okay.
For the day after July the 4th.
Somebody blew their fingers off.
You could end up feeling a lot of different ways after scarfing down 74 hot dogs and buns in just 10 minutes. For most of us, good wouldn't be one of those feelings, but that's how Joey Chestnut described himself after successfully defending his title at the Big Nathan's famous July the 4th hot dog eating contest yesterday.
That's gross.
Can you imagine, 97% humidity and about 109-degree heat index and 74 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes?
It's gross.
Anyway, he is the defending champion. He takes home the mustard belt for the 11th time.
The mustard belt. That's really something to want.
So, but I don't think there's anybody in training much.
Yeah, no joke. Every time I think of like a food eating contest, I think of wouldn't it Stand By Me where they had like the Barfarama?
Yeah, I believe that was right. And anyway, this breaks a record though. 74 breaks the record. You know, he's breaking his own record.
There you go.
So he set himself up for I don't know what, failure.
Yeah. You know what? I bet he would be one of those people that would be fighting for that dog license.
Yeah. And
Weird priorities.
For the women, Mickey Sudo chomped down 37 francs
Good Lord.
and buns to take the top prize. This is the 5th consecutive year for Mickey Sudo. Studio.
I'm saying, God.
37. Anyway, that was yesterday in New York City. You wonder what, I don't know, wonder how much money Mr. Chestnut makes per year.
I mean, not enough. Lord mercy. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Another tidbit news story that I have for you today. It just gives me the chance to intro this story by playing your favorite song. Okay?
Oh, Lord.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do.
I want to stab myself in the air with a fork every time I hear that
Well,
song.
now here's why we have this song, okay? I'll stop it right there.
Thank you.
I won't get to the refrain.
Oh, isn't that a terrible song?
Francesca, a female pygmy hippo that I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas singer Gail Peavy welcomed to Oklahoma City Zoo back in December.
Right.
Francesca has died.
I mean, I'm not happy, but like I'm not sad.
No. The Oklahoma City Zoo and Botanical Gardens announced Francesca's death yesterday. She said that caretakers examined the 26-year-old hippo last week after she showed some signs of illness.
Did they have that song playing by any chance?
No. Veterinarians diagnosed her with dental and severe gastrointestinal disease and progressive kidney failure. The zoo says the median life expectancy for a pygmy hippo is just over 26 years.
15 if you play that song.
It said in her time there, Francesca was confident and calm. Francesca moved to Oklahoma City from the San Diego Zoo. She was welcomed by Miss Gail Peavy, an Oklahoma City native.
Good old Gail Peavy.
Whose novelty hit inspired a fundraising drive that helped the zoo buy its first hippo back in 1953.
Like I'm happy they helped the zoo.
Yeah,
to death.
well, I mean, you know.
That song, Lord help us.
Gail can't help it.
Gail can't help it. It's Gail's fault.
All right. So
it'll be in my head today now. I'm going to have to play like Milli Vanilli or something.
I'm going to sneak up there and change your phone ringer to the Gail Peavy.
Oh, God. That would be a nightmare.
I bet you wouldn't answer it.
I wouldn't. I'd put it on silent.
And, you know, we're in the middle of it. One more story here. This is, we're in the middle of all this heat and heat advisories, and it's not the least bit pleasant for anybody.
Right.
Hot dog contest or not. But listen to this out of Berlin this morning. Much of northeast Germany has been suffering from a persistent lack of rain the past 2 months. And the problem was made worse by a freak incident involving a bird.
Okay.
Listen to this. Police in the Baltic seaport city of Rostock says that a bird touched a live railway power line and fell to the ground in flames. The burning bird landed on a rain-star field, and the burning bird set 17 acres of land ablaze. At the peak of the inferno, more than 50 firefighters were dispatched to douse the flames. All because of the unfortunate demise of a little bird who flew into the power line, exploded in flames and burnt up the field.
Why am I laughing?
I don't know. There's nothing very funny about it other than just the freakness of it, okay?
Oh, goodness.
If that is a word, freakness.
The freak.
Yeah, that's right.
That's going to go to like the Henry Says hashtag.
That's right, the freakness.
That's
not the freakness, the freakness.
That ain't communist woodchucks.
That's right. And I'll throw this in here just as a public service announcement, and I'll quit, okay?
Okay.
This is out of Minnesota. There's a 16-year-old in southwest Minnesota who drove his car into a sinkhole following heavy rains. He escaped by climbing out the back window. WCCO TV reports that Renville County Sheriff's Office said the sinkhole formed after a culvert under the road washed out. The teen was not injured. His grandmother, though, Candace Leopold, says he got his driver's license last month.
Yeah, and probably saw water standing, thought I can drive through that.
And only had his car for a few weeks when the sinkhole swallowed it Tuesday.
And still doesn't have enough brain activity going on to probably make good decisions.
Well, she says that he was on his way actually to work at a farm near Redwood Falls, a community about 115 miles west of Minneapolis. So,
that happened around here. They had a big sinkhole collapse in a road. It was like 14 feet down.
Yeah.
Don't drive through standing water, people. I don't care how big your truck is, how much black smoke you can roll through your diesel. Don't drive through it.
Yeah, and that's just the kid learned that, and I'm glad he was safe.
Yeah, I guess he did.
He learned it the hard way, as they say. So
if
that's
I got distracted because that song was on.
Okay, I don't know. I really don't know what song that you're talking about.
The song.
I don't know.
Oh, Henry, boy. Make it stop. Where's the forecast?
Gail, bring it home.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
She should never get another Christmas gift ever.
Hippopotamus will do.
Okay.
And her voice, what's up with that? It sounds like, like T-Pain has that, like his voice, like,
I don't know about T-Pain.
Well, she sounds like a female version of T-Pain.
Okay, all right.
Gosh, make it stop.
I don't think Santa Claus will mind, do you?
I think he will mind.
All right.
Good morning, friends. The Apostle Peter says in 1 Peter 5:8 that we should be very watchful and serious-minded in this life because the devil is trying to destroy us. Satan has always been trying to rise above God and to spoil the plan of God. According to Scripture, Satan was cast out of heaven due to his rebellion against the authority of Jehovah. Since that day, he's never ceased to try and deceive men and women and that they not submit to the lordship of God in Christ. The devil tried to destroy the Christ child. He could not. He tried to tempt the grown Lord Jesus to sin. He could not. After Jesus willingly gave himself to die as a sacrifice for the sins of mankind, Satan perhaps thought he had won a victory, but he had not, for the Lord Jesus rose from the dead. The tempter then turned his attention to the church of our Lord and has continued to try and destroy it throughout persecution, corruption, lies, and deceit. Although he can never destroy the church as a whole in this world, he has sometimes led many congregations of God's people to abandon New Testament Christianity in favor of a corrupted and worldly form of work and worship. Each Christian must stand firm and be watchful, for Satan is near. This is Danny Wyatt for the rest